I will check. I will check.
I think we're live.
Yeah.
I think we're live.
My husband got
Tap it.
now go to the share button. Copy link and put it in the Discord.
And a what? And well,
And the
yeah.
WhatsApp.
Oh,
Told her to stay.
No commentary. I just put it there. I know it's boring, but I have to.
Yeah.
So it's a great
Was it one of those like coin flips against the house?
Which something are you with? What group are you from? Oh, Atlanta. Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Are people trickling in? If you are outside, we'll do give 2 more minutes to anyone who's in this room with banned from something forever. So here's a program today. QR codes around where you can get the whole schedule. I see some more trickling in.
Getting on the plane. My wife brought it. I was like, "You're driving to the airport." And she's like, "Yeah, like you can just put sunscreen on the that's
All right, I'm gonna call it. Let's get this circus on the road. Welcome! Okay. We're so glad you're here. I assume you all know where we are and why we're here, but can't start this off to give the usual speech. Welcome to Sunday Assembly. We are a secular organization whose motto is to, say it with me, live better, help often, and wonder more in this one life we know we have. We're so glad you're here. The great thing about being an international secular community is we have our own theme song. And believe it or not, if you haven't heard it before, it is a sea shanty. Written by Paul B. Svensson, who is not able to attend because he is on the high seas marauding, apparently. Let's get this started.
Hey, this is a lovely sea shanty. If you're able and willing to stand and like sing along.
Oh yes, please.
We would absolutely love it. You'll catch it. Just ask the tune. Okay? Okay, here we go.
It's been a minute since I stood
Welcome to Sunday Assembly. I look round the room and must say, familiar old faces and new ones. We're glad that you came here today. We're glad that you came here today. We're glad that you came here today. To familiar old faces. and sometimes we'll sing too. Raise up our voices in verses, and sometimes we'll sing them in two. Bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. We were all done with the program, and after we sing the last song, introduce yourselves to one another, and you won't be a stranger for long. No, you won't be a stranger for long. You won't be a stranger for long. Introduce yourselves to one another, and you won't be a stranger for long. So welcome to Sunday Assembly. We greet you with a wide open door. We're certainly glad that you joined us to live better, help on wonder more. Live better, help on wonder more. Live better, help on wonder more. We're certainly glad that you joined us to live better, help on wonder more. Standing up here, because this next bit requires some standing up. I need some more singers to come to the stage to help me out now. Now that you've all been officially welcomed to Sunday Assembly, it's now time to welcome you to Georgia. This is a traditional tune from Atlanta that kind of encapsulates the way that people of our home state like to welcome people and show up at events like this.
Getting settled.
What's better than one song?
T-shirts!
Know the drill. Y'all know the drill, right? Okay.
All right. Are we ready? Here we go.
That's a suspicious check there.
Yeah, that's what that's about.
That is suspicious.
You know where you want it.
If you see a famous sign at the side of the road that says 15 miles to the Who is it? for it's as big as a whale and it's about to set sail. I've got me a car, it seats about 20, so come on and bring your jukebox money.
Love Shack is a little old place where we can get together. Love Shack, baby.
Love Shack, baby.
Love Shack, baby, Love Shack. Love Shack, baby, Love Shack. Love Shack,
Oh,
baby,
baby, that's where
Love
it's
Shack.
at, yeah.
Love Shack,
Oh, baby, that's where it's at.
Bang, bang, bang on the door, baby. Bang, bang, bang on the door, baby.
I can't hear you.
Bang, bang, bang on the door, baby.
Knock a little louder, sugar.
Bang, bang, bang on the door, baby.
I can't hear you.
Bang, bang, bang on the door, baby.
Knock a little louder.
Bang, bang, bang on the door, baby.
There we go. On the door, baby. On the door. On the door, baby. You're what? That's where it's at, yeah. Oh, baby, that's where it's at. Represent, just dancers out over at the Shack. Okay. Now that we're warmed up, you aren't done making noise. We welcome you to Atlanta, and now it's time to welcome everyone who's here on an individual basis. So, we're going to go through and try and capture everyone who's here. So, we're going to visit all the assemblies who have representatives here. So, we're going to start. Let's start in the lower southwest corner of the country and welcome San Diego. Who's here from San Diego? Let's move up the coast. Let's move up the coast from there. Welcome Los Angeles. Keep going north. We've got Santa Cruz in the house. Where's Santa Cruz? Silicon Valley's here. See, welcome East Bay. We got anyone East Bay? Okay, we keep going north, and we got the great state of Oregon. We have anyone from the Oregon contingent here?
All right, not here yet.
They're on the way. They're on the way. We have Oregon contingents on the way.
I'll take some Oregon for now.
California staff.
Well, let's go east. Welcome Detroit. What about Fort Worth? There we go. Okay, let's keep coming across the country. Welcome Gainesville. Now from Gainesville, we're going to go to the beach. We're going to get a boat. We're going to paddle all the way to Brighton. Welcome Brighton. Then we'll come back to the States and welcome Chapel Hill. Then we'll scoot across and welcome Nashville.
I already saw that on stage.
Now let's get a shout out for, there's a local crowd, Atlanta. I do want to take a moment and recognize all of our first timers. If this is your first Sunday Assembly convention, who are you? If this is your first or nearly your first Sunday Spindly experience of any kind, raise your hand. Okay, just making sure. I didn't have something
We have an experienced crowd here.
Yeah, people know what to do. Okay. All right. Well, okay, with that, we're going to talk about what we're going to do here and what we're going to enjoy ourselves at the convention. And to do that, we're going to turn off Rodeo Clown. I'm going to pass the mic to Ross up here. I will take this.
Assuming this works just fine. I don't know who's Laurel and who's Harvey, but I'll take that. Thank you very much. I don't know if Jared introduced himself, but that's Jared. The core organizer on this whole thing. My name's Ross. I'm also involved. I am here to do just a tad of like housekeeping and like kind of tell them like why are we here and what are we doing. So first of all, thanks for your patience. Oh my goodness. And then we go back. Cool. The theme of this event is welcome. It's welcoming, right? Welcome y'all is the phrase that we put on the website, that we're putting everywhere. And that is not just a southern twang, just a fun thing. We consider it to be an active thing, aka not a passive thing, as the big text on the slide might imply. And we think there's a lot to explore in these ideas. Like, I don't want to block anyone from seeing. Eric has to see. So, what does that mean? So, we are a network of Secco communities. So, we already know, what being marginalized is, because this thing didn't quite exist until groups like us emerged, right? And so we recognize and understand the value of being welcoming and the need for that, and to have these spaces in your local communities and at these big events that you're at. So I'm really grateful that you're here. I'm going to talk about these 6 items briefly, right? So we want to be having open doors to a wide variety of folks, right? Like beyond your own identity and what you might even expect, to be able to be as accommodating and accessible as possible. We want to foster a safe space, and I put safer because no spaces are perfect in that way, and this is always a learning and growing experience, right? These are things that we want us to lean into today, and to think about how we can improve that and grow that in our own communities when we go back home. Accepting change, right? We are in uncertain times, we have been in the past, we will be in the future. How does that change how our communities respond? How does that change how our communities grow, shrink, all these different things? We're embracing all feelings, both as communities and here today, right? Grief is a part of being a community, just as well as joyousness, right? And we have all, holding space for all that today, and we invite in your communities. Building a beloved community. This is a phrase from, if I remember correctly, it's either MLK or John Lewis, civil rights folks from here, and recognizing and valuing the community that we are creating, and nurturing creativity. Y'all, you have to walk with your eyes closed to not see the creativity on display in this lovely menu called the supermarket. And if you got your tote bags, you probably saw a creativity booklet. We'll talk a bit more about that later, but we're welcoming that in this space, both as fun artistic expression, but also in ideas and action on how to make our communities and our whole network better. So, welcome isn't passive, and we actively invite y'all to think about and engage with how we can be welcoming to each other here and beyond. What is this conference for? Is a valuable question, and we get that a decent amount. And we kind of come around to these 3 ideas, which no one is in one of these slots, but it's worth recognizing as we're interacting with folks, that folks are coming from different places, literally, but also with different desires for what they want to get out of this awesome experience. So one of them is a supersized Sunday assembly experience, right? We just had awesome band time, right? We're doing all sorts of activities, and of course the big Sunday assembly itself. Also, local organizers learning, and I put plotting because I think that's fun. How can we be better equipped? What can we be bringing back to our local communities to make it even better? You already heard me say that. And a chosen family reunion. Many folks here have been to most of the other conferences going all the way back to 2014, which is the very first one, and on, right? And like, this is a core group of lovely folks, whether you've been to one or many, that like, it is a one time a year where many folks get together, and that's a beautiful thing. And there's also folks who've never been to one before, right? So, always wanting to be recognizing that people are here for different reasons, and we can all work together, communicate, enjoy workshops and activities, explore all these different avenues together. Let's talk a little bit about, briefly, some of the code of conduct stuff. So how are we showing up? Radical hospitality is something we're practicing with each other, starting right now or maybe 20 minutes ago. Great job. And wanted to just name a couple things, just setting the tone for like, hey, how we want to be engaging with one another. The code of conduct, I think, Ashley, you put it up all over the place, little one-pagers, if you ever need to reference that, but it's also on our website. 4 things. They aren't too difficult, but it deserves to be recognized and kind of elevated in the space. First one, hey, consent first. Pretty basic, right? We're going to ask and not assume. That applies to both physical, but also like assumptions about anything about someone, right? That could be, relationships, family, pronouns, any of those kinds of things. It's just nice to ask these kinds of things before just assuming something. Listen like you're fascinated, and you'll probably become it. So, like, truly, right? Like, ask questions of other people, right? I would actively invite myself too. Be really mindful of like, am I talking more in this group than the average, right? Am I taking up more space? Because everybody here's got like amazing stories and perspectives and lived experience, and it's just waiting for you to just understand and embrace, and becomes ever more enmeshed network, which is really, really cool. In this room, be present, right? So we've got lots of past experiences of wonderful conferences. But again, many people don't have those. So let's build awesome experiences here today, and tomorrow, and the next day, and even yesterday. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the food hall, right? Like, let's think about like and celebrate those things, and stay in the present as much as we can. And you are welcome as you are, right? It's a secular space. We're not anti-religious, right? So gender, orientation, race, ability, all of these things. We want all of that to be welcome here. Want to hit one more thing on maybe that first one, the consent first thing, right? If you ever see or experience anything that does not feel right, it feels like it's violating one of these things or consent or something like that, talk to anybody with one of these green lanyards with the green organizer thing on it, right? We are happy to, maybe that's the wrong word, but absolutely ready to help you hear what's going on and try to rectify a situation. That also definitely applies to the after-hours events that maybe y'all saw on those sheets of paper, right? When you're signing up for those, right? Those are an extended part of this experience, right? So we want to apply all the things we just said to those as well, whether we're drinking or having fun or going on a walk or playing board games, all of those things. Yeah. So that's a good amount of housekeeping, I think. Okay. Don't worry, it won't be much longer, and then we'll have a cool speaker. We'll move on. But I wanted to give at least a 101 on Sunday Assembly over the years. For anyone who's a little bit newer, or just a little refresher, let's all like set the table for like, where are we? What are we doing? And we have then, now, and next. So maybe y'all have seen this article, which I pulled like yesterday, and it says it's 13 years old. And it is, to me, this is The Guardian, I think this is the first article ever that was like, here's what Sunday Assembly is. And you can see, like, there's Sanderson, Nicholas in the back on guitar, and it's called Atheist Church, right? And like, those two, like, have gone on to do other wonderful, lovely things. And we don't really call ourselves Atheist Church anymore. Sometimes I do, but both those words are wrong, of course, in little ways. And like, we've changed radically since then, and that deserves recognition. But that's origin, right? Where are we now? Well, we have 25-ish chapters, mostly in the US and the UK, including one in the Philippines that's quite unique. And like in the past, there have been more. Like there used to be a tagline, there were 70 chapters, right? And like that has ebbed and flowed. Obviously, COVID is a major contributor to a lot of not only burnout, but like separation. And I think that we are rebuilding, and this event is an example of that. And then next, this is not about me. But this is the best photo I have, okay? I'm sorry. Then, who who knows where this is? Who knows this building? Anybody? This is in St. Louis. This is the Ethical Society of St. Louis's building. It is a beautiful it's a beautiful work of architecture with this really cool spire, like wavy roof, and some amazing stained glass windows. And the Ethical Society is a lovely thing that has existed for 130 years? Yeah, 13. 13. So this is not me saying we need to get buildings. This is me looking at groups that have existed for over a century.
And taking their building.
And creativity. Sorry, Ashley?
You did say plotting.
I did say plotting. You know, things are really coming back. Things are really coming home to roost right now. Anyway, you'll have lots of time to discuss that with others. And maybe alternatives could be proposed. We like James Croft. He was a part of it for a long time. I don't know if they need to be taken over. Now. So this was on a trip that Ashley and I took last year where we traveled, we drove to Denver, Colorado. And we stopped at this and we stopped at some Oasis chapters. And at least one actually also has a building. Again, I'm not interested in the building thing, but I'm looking at that longevity. And I'm really curious about what makes that. What makes us gather again year after year after year? What creates that sustainability? That's the thing I'm thinking about, and that's going to be the subject of a workshop that I'm doing, I think, tomorrow. So, that's just some level setting, but also maybe some imagination. Like, where can we be going in the future? And that's the wrong way. We're not going back to the past. In summary, you, the people here and in your communities, shape what's next. Right? The founders are no longer actively involved. It is us. We are deciding, we're shaping what this looks like into the future. And maybe it looks a little bit like the amazing eclectic nature of the supermarket, you know. And I think now's about time for us to get to our speaker, Douglas, who may be in the illustrious green room. Douglas, let's see, what is your official title here? Are you the choreographer? Douglas is a part of Full Radius Dance, which is an amazing organization that my partner Ashley and myself have seen perform. And this is and there are specific terms that I may not be getting fully right, but it uses both standing and seated dancers, which is truly, yeah.
He's got this terminology all wrong.
Yeah, I'm way wrong. So of course I'm gonna let Douglas speak more to it. It does seem like, are we good on AV? What's happening? Yeah. We're very, very excited to have him speak with us on his work, which of course has a wonderful accessibility angle that is just fascinating, and we're going to be seeing some of the performances in video. So let us welcome up Douglas. Sorry, technical issue here.
Oh, because I turned off the power strip. That's probably why.
You have to get that off.
Okay, all right, go back. Okay. Yeah, it'd be a clicker. Where's the clicker? There we go.
Yes. Hey.
All right, and maybe get a little closer to the mic so the back phone here.
Okay, is this better?
Is that better, y'all?
I'm hugging my mic. Is that Eleanor? Hey, Eleanor. It's been years since I've seen you. What a lovely surprise. Yeah, so. Wait, I went the wrong way.
Down your
There we go. So who am I? I am Douglas Scott. I'm the artistic executive director and the founder of Full Radius Dance. And no, that's not a typo. I did get my first professional dance job in 1981. Since then, I've added the titles of educator, choreographer, artistic director to my job description. I founded Full Radius Dance in 1990 And it began as what I describe as a traditional dance company. It was all professional dancers without disabilities. But in late 1992, I began teaching classes for dancers with and without disabilities as part of a partnership between the Atlanta Ballet, Shepherd, which is our spinal and brain rehab clinic, and two organizations that are no longer around, Very Special Arts and Special Audiences. And the course of my career got changed. I was intrigued about how to create a modern dance technique that was inclusive and challenging for all, and that was firmly art-based and not designed to be therapeutic. Now, I have nothing against dance movement or dance therapy, but it's defined by the dance movement group as the psychotherapeutic use of movement to promote emotional, social, and cognitive and physical health. I didn't know anything about physiotherapy. I can't even say the word, psychotherapeutic use of movement, and I still don't. But I do know that I'm curious about bodies, about how they move, how they dance, and I was curious about what dance could teach us about fully inhabiting our bodies as we move. Whether it's a body with an apparent disability, a non-apparent disability, or a body without a disability. So I very loftily now describe myself as a non-disabled knowledge bearer of technique to support both the disabled and non-disabled body, and to further the alchemy that happens when these bodies work together. I am grateful for the numerous artists I have worked with throughout the years that have informed my work, and I'm very happy to be here today to share it with you. Now, I want this to be more of a conversation, so if there's any time you have a question for me or need clarification or just have something to add, please feel free to do so. As an art form, dance has historically been performed by what is considered by many as the ideal body. What do I mean by that? In particularly the Western European tradition, the Western USA tradition of contemporary and modern dance, a dancer's body is generally considered to be this. Legs and arms are long in relation to the torso, because that is perceived as creating an elegant line. Joint flexibility. You have to have high arches and insteps, because your feet have to point, and you have to do point work. And there's the natural outward rotation of the hips, which in ballet is called turnout. Also, musculature. Lean, long muscles are preferred over heavier or thicker muscles, because that's perceived to be, once again, a more elegant body. So therefore, I believe that full radius dance's existence is a radical act. We question what dance has been and what dance can be. We challenge society's conception of the dancing body. My company creates and dances authentically and claims equal access in an inaccessible world. We are pushing for a wholesale remaking of the art form and of society. And we do it demanding it now rather than waiting for incremental changes. So what is full radius dance? Oh, it won't keep there. Full Radius Dance is a physically integrated dance company. And this is how we personally define full physically integrated dance. There is like Axis out in California, Dancing Wills in Ohio. They may have completely different definitions, but this is how we define it. The term physically integrated dance defines dance that combines dancers with and without disabilities in the creation, rehearsal, and performance of the work. Physically integrated dance cannot exist without both the disabled and non-disabled body. It communicates an awareness and acceptance of differing physicalities and a deep sense of recognition about the awareness, a deep sense of recognition about the power and potential of the body and mind. Within full radius dance, we have company members with apparent and non-apparent disabilities, and we also have company members that do not identify as disabled. So when you were referring to stand-up and sit-down dancers, no, we're dancers with and without disabilities, is how we describe the company. If you're not familiar with the terms apparent and non-apparent disabilities, some people use invisible disabilities. Many discussions we've had, invisible disability can imply that you're trying to hide your disability, and that's not the case. It's just that if you don't have disability, you may not recognize that the disability exists in the other person, but if you may have the same disability, you instantly recognize it. So that's why we use apparent and non-apparent disabilities. Okay. Do we get any questions? Okay. So, what informs our work? Full radius dance has the 5 fundamentals of physically integrated dance, which are our core beliefs. They are equity, body integrity, accessibility, power dynamics, and the brave creative process. I'm only going to talk about 2 of those today, but I wasn't even going to mention the other ones, but my husband said, if you tell them there's 5 fundamentals, and you only talk about 2, they're going to go, why didn't you share the other 3? So, for time reasons, I'm only going to do 2 of them today that are really applicable in our work. Body integrity. Whoops, I skipped, sorry. That. Literally, when I went to college, we had a typewriter lab in the library to go do our term paper science. So I describe myself, I'm a typewriter in this new age, so I thought, and I'm also at that age where you just pick up a rung and you just hit random buttons until you finally get what you want. So equity. In the full radius dance methodology, neither the disabled nor the non-disabled dancer is highlighted or minimized. Our interest is in complementing each dancer's strength and artistry, not in creating a framework in which dancers are showcased or emphasized due to disability or lack of disability. Inherent in our work is deconstructing ableism and exclusivity in the field of dance. We reject the idea that disability is a condition to be remedied or cured. Instead, we view disability as a natural and inevitable form of human variation. It's one more aspect of human diversity, such as blue eyes, gray hair, being stunningly handsome. It's just one of those. Second, body integrity. Our practice is committed to advocating for the acceptance, systematic equity, and representation of all bodies, regardless of disability or ability, size, gender, race, age, or appearance. Body integrity means that there is no wrong way to have a body. All bodies have the right to exist as they are. It means that everyone determines how they want to feel about their body, what foods they want to eat, and how they define their health, physical, emotional, and psychological. Everyone holds the responsibility to challenge their attitudes and assumptions about other people's bodies. No one can know another's health just by looking at them. We consciously chose body integrity over body positivity. You'll hear body positivity out there a lot. And when we were discussing what we wanted to call this, one of my dancers said, you know, I woke up in severe pain this morning. I don't like my body today. I'm not feeling positive about my body today. So that's why we went with body integrity. There's a very clear line for us that I'm not going to judge your body is yours, but you don't have to feel positive about your body. There we go. So let's take a short dance break. I've been talking a lot, but I think dance is a visual art form. So here is a 3-minute, 30-second excerpt from one of our works called A Waltz for the End of Time. And just for your information, 4 out of the 5 dancers in this video identify as disabled. And this was filmed at 7 Stages Theater. We're the resident dance company here in Atlanta. To read it better, it blocks my screen. Excuse me while I dance for a second. I'm gonna move this over. Time check. Half an hour, great. Any questions? Yes?
Yeah, what prompted the change from working with a purely able-bodied company to an integrated just curious of how that happened, how you thought about it, and what drove you?
Yeah, he's asking about the switch over from working with traditional dancers to non-traditional dancers. Yeah. I was at the point in my career where I was really interested in how far I could push my body. So I was doing trapeze work. I was doing Spanish web, and I was performing it and teaching it. So physicality really became of deeper interest to me, and I had the opportunity to take a workshop about bringing the arts to different populations, such as people with mental illness, the incarcerated, at-risk youth. One of the sessions was dance for people with physical disabilities. So of course I gravitated towards that. Went in there and it was like, I grew up very much in the ballet tradition where there was one way to do everything right. And everybody, and being a clone was the preferred way. So I went into this workshop and was like, oh my goodness, this is legitimate dance. This is artistry. So out of that workshop, I got invited to a 2-day teacher training because the 4 groups I talked about earlier, Shepherd Center and Milan Ballet, wanted to launch classes here in Atlanta, Georgia. So I went to that 2-day teacher training, which in retrospect is a laugh, that you think you could learn everything about teaching in 2 days. And I was asked to start teaching classes. I was supposed to be mentored by another organization that's been around almost 50 years. I never saw them again. So I was like, here, teach. And I was so grateful. Well, I remember my first class, I had a dancer with post-polio syndrome who used a 300-pound power chair, which she drove with her left hand. So all the movements I had traveling across the floor where the left hand went up, I was like, well, that doesn't work. You just stopped dead in the middle of the floor. I had a dancer who used a manual chair that could not manipulate the chair themselves. I had a dancer who had anorexia nervosa, and because of that, had suffered a stroke and used a cane. I had dancers without disabilities. So it was like, we don't want any one person just sitting and watching while one group goes across. So it became, how do I create this inclusive, welcoming class that can be participated in regardless of who you are, from the first minute you walk into the class to the last minute that you leave class. And that rejuvenated my soul, rejuvenated my career, and from that point on, it was like, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to focus. And selfishly too, there was something exciting about being a trailblazer, a pioneer in this form of dance. I'm widely, I hate bragging about myself, but I'm widely regarded as one of the pioneers of physically integrated dance in the USA. So, yeah, did that answer? Yeah. Anything else? Yeah.
So you talk about you don't want this to be like therapy. It's not therapy, right? It's just dance. But do you have conversations with your group about accessibility and inclusivity, or do you design the dance and just teach it? You know what I mean?
This is a fantastic segue. So I'm going to go to my next slides because this is I think it's going to address those. So first, I'm going to. If we have time, I'm going to invite you to join me in a few exercises. But before we get there, I'm going to jump. Those are great slides, but you don't need them. About a week from now, you go, why didn't he show those slides? But that'll be your takeaway. So, embodiment. Each dancer in Full Radius Dance and in all of our classes gets to choose their own embodiment. And that refers to the different physicalities, such as seated, standing, as well as the various mobility aids a dancer might use. So we have identified 5 different embodiments. So each of our exercises and each of our dances have these embodiments. You have standing, and standing can be standing holding on to the back of the chair. Could be standing with crutches. Seated in a stationary chair, like many of you now. Seated in a mobile chair that has either manual or power chair, as Eleanor uses. Seated on the floor, as in this picture, you see Julie seated on the floor, extending her arm out to Jean Marie, who's in a manual chair. And prone, you can even be lying flat on the floor. So when we create choreography, or we work together as a company, each dancer is allowed to choose what embodiment works for them. And often dancers will switch embodiments. Even my dancers who use manual chairs will get out of their manual chair to work on the floor. Second thing that is very essential to us is the concept of transposition. And transposition refers to how movement is executed by the various embodiments. Where am I? Where am I? And a successful transposition will maintain the integrity of the movement. Integrity includes intent, directionality, sequence, and rhythmic relationship. So once again, let's go to video, because I think this is going to become much clearer what this means. Yeah, this one's called Bond, and it is because I use the James Bond theme. Yeah, some of like our exercises are, and these are some of the first cuts from our training manual that we're producing. But due to copyright issues, I'm not using the Bond music right now. So here's a seated in a wheelchair embodiment and a seated in a stationary chair embodiment. And here's the same exercise in the standing embodiment. So rhythmic relationship is the same. Directionality is the same. We can jump to the next one.
Yeah, if you see InfoWars popping up in my YouTube suggestions, that's the Onions.
The Onion.
The new one.
Yes,
was
and
wondering
that
about
is
that.
his, that's not mine. Extreme close-up of Douglas.
Or embodiment, seated folding chair embodiment, music is axle tree, the silent flow.
So in our technique, and in our choreography, they may be doing something slightly different, but we always find those points where everybody hooks back up again. And in this case, it's with this, what I call the around the world choreograph. See, I had it, this is not the edited version. I will say, I'm gonna give the edited version done like that. If we jump to the second one. The second one, you're gonna see the seated in a wheelchair, manual wheelchair embodiment and the standing embodiment. This exercise is called plie plie. Plie refers to the traditional bending of the knees in dance. Glide is our term for push and a glide. Push glide, or pull glide, we call that glide. Go ahead. So even in our classes, you can see there's one dancer that's in a first traditional ballet first position. The other dancer is choosing to work in a parallel position. We call this the insert. The two standing dancers are doing forced arches, while the seated dancer is doing a controlled turn. And as they start this next movement, notice how the standing dancers start with their arms coming around from the back. They are transposing the pull of the will. So our technique is not about making the dancers with disabilities transpose the standing, the non-disabled technique. It goes both ways. It constantly interplays back and forth. And we make those conscious choices as a company. Yes. Any questions? Time check. That's so good.
13 minutes.
13 minutes. Okay, well, I would like to invite you all, whoever would like to, body integrity, it's your choice, who would like to do some movement with me. I am scanning and I'm transposing right now because of the space. So I'm going to show you what this is and how you might do it if you want to stay in your stationary chairs, seated where you are. We're just going to do a simple, I'm trying to get rid of judgment terms in my teaching. Like when I say simple, it may not be simple for everybody. So I'm really continuing to police my language and how we use language in society, but particularly in the dance studio. So here's the movement. We're going to start by 4 breaths. Just a breath in and out, in and out, in and out. Now, I'm not going to say sit tall, because that's not a possibility for everybody. So I'm going to ask you to do elongate your body. Whatever that personally means to you, elongate your body. We're going to take a breath in, a breath out, 4 times. Then I'm going to ask you, if there aren't already there, maybe to drop your arms to the side, or to the front, wherever you have room. I'm going to say, flex your hands. I want you to flex your hands as if you're pushing down against the floor. And I want you to feel that breath that comes to your upper back and that length that comes into your side. The elongation of the torso. Then I'll say, relax your hands and relax your chin. I'm going to step back from my mic. And we're going to breathe in. The arm's going to rise. And I'm rising to what my full range of motion is. My full range of motion may not be your full range of motion. Would y'all put those shoulders down? Why did you raise me to? We just did this to drop your shoulders. Yes, this is what needs to be pressed down. We press down to get those shoulders down into place. Now feel where those shoulders are. And then arms lift up, with those shoulders down into place. And then you drop it back down. And we're going to do that twice. Up and down. Okay? So, a couple things to think about. This movement is designed to match focus to breath to movement. Pick one, pick three, just watch. But here's what, if I match my breath, my focus to the movement, I'm gonna breathe in. As I breathe in, I'm following my fingertips with my head, and I'm up. As I breathe out, I follow my fingertips to come back down. And in the physically integrated classroom, there is no wrong way. And if you screw up, I always say, who cares? We're not on stage, we're in the classroom. So we're going to do two front, then I'm going to invite you to twist your torso, if that feels good and that works for you, towards the right. I'm going to turn around. As a dance teacher, I'm always used to being the mirror, but that confuses people sometimes. It always confuses adults. With a mirror, it confuses adults, but it doesn't confuse kids. So I'm going to twist my torso and come up and down. Twice. You're going to go to the left. You're going to come back to the center. So, recap. 4 breaths in. We're going to press down. We're going to feel that length that comes into our sides and our shoulders drop. We're going to relax our hands. I'm going to cue, relax our head. We're going to breathe up for 6, down for 6, up for 6, down for 6, to the right, to the left, back to the center. I call that the sandwich. Front, side, side, center, so it's like bread, peanut butter, jelly, bread. You always finish with the bread. And then now I have to go over here and turn on my music. All this black is very distracting. Just step here someplace. I'm counting the music as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to start with our breaths in. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Let your arms drop down. You can already there. Flex your palms. With fingers pointing front, fingers pointing side, it's your choice. Feel your shoulders drop into place. Relax your hands, and if you want to, relax your chin to your chest. And breathe in, lift to the front. Out. In. Out. To your right corner. Out. In. Out. Go to your left corner. Put your final slice of bread on. Excellent job. Wanna come dance for me? Mic check, please. 6 minutes, okay. Let's do one more. We'll just do the first two parts of it. I call this torso and rib circles. And I was thinking about it earlier today, that my theory is, and I'm not a historian by any point, is that when we switched from being farmers and hunters and gatherers into a more industrialized world, we lost a lot of our movement. Sitting behind a desk, or the other things that happen today, that's why I say your body has undiscovered movement, because we've lost some of that over the years, over generations. So this is called torso rib circles, and you're just gonna, I will explain it this way, you're going to draw a circle on the ceiling with your head and torso. And that, yeah. And we're going to go 4 times to the right, 4 times to the left. Then we're going to explore the, I can't remember, the transverse plane. What is that? It doesn't matter. I always forget my planes. This one I'm going to describe, and this one's going to be maybe a little bit more difficult, is you're going to draw the face of a clock in front of you. So thinking like 12, 1, 2, back up. Let me show you sideways. So here, that's a torso movement we just never use anymore. Right and left. And the third one we're going to do is we're going to arch forward and roll it up. We're going to do that 4 times, and once again, transpose. Do your range of movement. Don't try to match my range of movement. 4, and then it reverses, and we're going to start by lifting up, rolling forward, and down. Feel free to, like Ashley's got her hands on her knees, and if she wanted to, she could use that to brace herself on the way down. Push against it to pull herself up. I've had dancers in the past that have no core because of their injury. So we transpose. Use your hands to lower yourself down and up. And let me just punch, grenade, not a grenade. The Bruno Mars song, grenade. I just call it random numbers sometimes. As a Texas, y'all go like 5, 7, as if that's helpful. 5, 6, 7, to the right. We draw the circle on the ceiling. 2, 3. 4. Other way. See how squishy you can make yourself. Squishy. 4, 2, 3, 4. Let's press down again. Get that length back into our torso. And now face the clock. Sorry, I meant the wrong way. Alex the beer. So really working like you're sandwiched between a wall. And reverse. 1, 2, Let's press, get that impact in your torso. Now we're gonna do the arch down. Up. Arch. Up. Arch. Two. Up. Arch. Two. Up. Reverse. Roll through. Arch up. Roll through. Arch up. Roll through. Arch up. Roll through. Arch up. Great job. Back and forth. Thank you so much. Any more questions?
Yes. Just a light one here for the end. How has doing this work changed you in the way that you?
One of the biggest ways it changed me as a teacher is that I used to go in and teach a dance class. Now I go in and teach the individuals in the class. And it's opened my eyes that there is no one size fits all in the world. So it's made me more empathetic, more aware, more understanding, I think. Like I say, it literally changed the course of my career. And when I say change the course of my career, I cannot separate myself from being a dancer. So it changed me.
All right.
Oh, listen. So if you want, here's how to find us. We're on the web as Full Radius Dance. You can reach out to me, info at Full Radius Dance. My direct email is Douglas at Full Radius Dance. You can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Instagram. And one quick shameless plug. Because this really ties, I think this really ties in to Sunday Assembly. We are premiering a collaboration next season with Johns Creek Symphony Orchestra, and it's called, the piece I'm creating is called Origins of Grace. And it's not about grace that comes from a divine being, it's about the grace that exists in each of us that we're cultivating. So we call it like my second review of grace, and it really sprung from conversations about how we give each other grace in the studio. And this piece is actually designed that if someone has, I have a dancer with MS, so if they have a flare-up on the day of the performance, this piece still works with the dancer being gone. So it's about how do we choreograph accessibility into a work. So it's been really fascinating and fun to work on, and finding those opportunities where dancers who need the rest can find the rest within the work, but still be present in the work. So, yeah. I'm really excited about that. That's in April of 2026.
Let's give one more round of applause. Thank you so very much. I also don't think I've used some of those muscles before, and I'm very, very grateful for that opportunity. And this expansive, like everything you were saying was growing my empathy and my understanding. Everything you were saying. So the next time I come and see one of your shows, I will be appreciating it all the more. So I'm really, really grateful. Thank you. And what a way to exemplify the creativity that we're trying to embody at this lovely event. And on that note, hopefully y'all all got your name tags and your tote bags. And if you have not looked inside of your tote bag, there are lovely, lovely things in there, some swag, but also this creativity booklet. And it may be somewhat self-explanatory, but it's perhaps worth naming. that you are actively encouraged to scribble on that thing and do whatever suits your fancy on all these little prompts. There's about 18 of them, I think. And they are an encouragement to explore, do something a little bit different, like we just did in a physical way. Some of them involve interacting with others, or maybe even hopping up on a mic tomorrow night on Saturday at the cabaret. So please take a look at those in your downtime. Try to do one or two of them. They are intentionally designed to not take more than a few minutes. They do not have to be perfect. They are about exercising your mind. And there's a little thing on the back that says, you get a discount on a t-shirt if you do it. So keep that in mind. What is next? How about just a little bit of some housekeeping here. This is the layout of the space. We are in the black box, as you might have guessed. This is where we'll be having the morning sessions, the afternoon sessions, the cabaret will be here. But just to kind of give you the lay of the land, the blue venue right across from here at the exit, that will be where some workshops are held. Art Gallery A, that is doing a couple different things. That is a quiet space, so if you need quiet, that's the place to go. We're intentionally asking for minimal to, like little conversation there. It also has all the love letters all strung up on the wall. And if you have been to a conference before, you might be aware that most of the time we have this feature where everyone here has an envelope with your name on it. And we are encouraging you to write nice things and leave them in those envelopes for the people that you've interacted with over this conference. When you've had a nice interaction with someone else, or you've seen someone do something, you're like, oh, that's fantastic. Or anything that is memorable, nice, warm fuzzies, it all goes in there. And yes, usually everyone's cramming for the final and they're doing it last minute on Sunday. So I'm actively inviting you to think about it now. You know, have those meaningful interactions as quickly as possible. Art Gallery A also, in your creativity booklet, you are actually encouraged to rip out one of those pages and put it up in that gallery. Because we are creating an art gallery in Art Gallery A. So, it doesn't have to be fancy, it doesn't have to be beautiful, but it is an expression of your creativity. So we actively invite that. The aisle is the big area that you would walk through. Some drinks and beverages are on the far end. And then Art Gallery B will be where folks will line up for food, if I'm not mistaken, when lunchtime rolls around. That's why Jared left, by the way. He is grabbing all of y'all's lunch. So.
And that's also where food throughout the day will be, is in Art Gallery B.
Bingo. So Ashley said food will be there throughout the day. So.
And one other logistic on food, you may have noticed there's disposable cups around. We really would love to minimize the amount of disposing that we do. So there are Sharpies all over the tables. You have stuff in your bag, write your name on that thing. Let's try to use one per person per day. And if you've got a reusable thing, use it, bring it.
I brought spaders, so you are welcome to have them. Erica, what's up?
Quiet space,
Quiet space.
also art gallery.
Yep.
There's coloring books and stuff in there.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff going on in Art Gallery A. It is all quiet
Just don't
and
talk to each other.
contemplative.
Have a
Yes, absolutely silent.
silent connection.
The sunroom, you might have noticed, is the room with the most sun. Just a lovely lounge space for conversations. There might be some workshops there as well, and a good place to eat when we have lunch. And the restrooms are right out the main entrance that you may or may not come in. Most people did. And there's restrooms upstairs as well. Jamie is waving. Do you need something?
Did you mention trash versus recycle?
Ooh, I have not, but right behind, in the end of the aisle there is lovely signage saying, hey, trash and recycling. So.
And additionally on that note, most of our plates and our napkins are compostable. There is a compost bucket in the food room, so.
There's a sign.
Right.
There are a
That's
lot
what
of
you need at
signs.
the large sticky note we have, so it should be pretty clear.
So, yeah, just to repeat, that is compost bins are signed, they're not signed, they have signage, they'll tell you, and, and many more things are compostable, so keep that in mind. I think that's probably enough of the layout. So now just briefly, hey, here's what's coming up for the rest of the day. We're gonna have a little bit of break as soon as I end up stop yapping. And then we will have these workshops available to you at 11:15. The program is also available, I think the back of your creativity booklet has a QR code. There's QR codes around on signs. But this is the part where I will invite the people who are doing these workshops to give like a one sentence about what it is and what they're up to. So Ashley, if you're ready.
Yeah. So Ashley, I'll be doing magical metaphors. It's going to be in the sunroom, so that means space with all the tables. And this will be playing with metaphor as a mechanism for changing your perspective and trying on new perspectives. So kind of very, very coachy vibes, kind of creative vibes, but please don't let that deter you. It will be guided.
And I'm biased, but it's cool and good. Great, Garrett. Storytelling in Blue Room, Blue Venue, right across.
To quote possibly one of my favourite ever people, Terry Pratchett, Homo sapien means the wise man. It's a rubbish name for our species. There's very little about us that indicates wisdom. So he proposed a different name for us, Pan Narangs, the storytelling chimpanzee. I believe that storytelling is absolutely at the core of humanity and what it is to be a human. I would argue it's the oldest profession, not prostitution, but storytelling is an older profession than that. It's how we explain who we are and where we're from. And so what I'm going to do, I've done some storytelling courses. I will explain techniques about the category of something as a storyteller, because ultimately that's what we all do all the time. And I run a little story. So come join me in the boardroom and let's talk stories.
And Erica, decorating toads.
Who thinks your tote bag is too plain?
Plain tote bags.
We're gonna go outside for some spray painting. You can also work inside with some markers that will work on fabric so you don't have to get to that hot study. We have stencils that has our lovely logo, which I am featuring on our shirts. Buy shirts. But yeah, we have all the decorating supplies kind of in the back, and I'll meet you there for
Yeah, head past the sunflowers.
The spray paint will only be available in this session with the stencils. The fabric markers will be available all weekend, so if you decide to go to another workshop, you can still decorate your bag. This is the only spray paint
Yes,
session.
yes, you can kind of pop in, pop out.
Yeah, and it
You'll
won't
have to
take the full
try
time.
the full
Yeah.
time. So there's 3 stencils, so if you want to use a stencil, you'll have to take your turn.
A lovely time. And I don't know if it's been said, but as you can see at the top of each of these, we have welcome growth, welcome community, and welcome creativity. These are the avenues that we're exploring, and so these things are hitting these different angles. So you choose your own adventure. I do believe we might be hitting, we're kind of going through the full day, so I'll be brief. Lunch from Ibilta, an Ethiopian place that many of us really, really love. It's going to be some awesome steamed vegetables with injera. You can use a fork or do it like they do and use the injera, the spongy bread, and eat it like that. I'll leave it up to you, but it'll be really good. And that'll be at noon. And then next workshops will be at 1:30 to 2:40. Welcoming creativity with Scottish country dancing in the Blue Room.
What it says on the tin, we will dance.
Truly, truly, it's
There will
not
be
blind
backpacks.
dancing, but you get instructions and you do it, and it's really fun and collaborative. And coalition building, Amy is not in this room, right? But she is the executive director of Science for Georgia, has a lot of experience, and I have seen firsthand in what this group, this science advocacy group in the state of Georgia, does, interacting with all sorts of groups to encourage legislation in positive ways and social advocacy. It's very, very cool. So I highly recommend checking that out. The next session before our closing, living better for people and animals with welcome growth. I'm not sure Kat is in the room, but she is leading that one. It is about expanding your empathy past just humans, right? If we want to live better, help often and wonder more, can we consider beings beyond Homo sapiens, as we've said, right? And I think that could be a really expansive activity, not unlike the speaker we just heard today. And that will be in the black box here. And then Jake Villa, who I'm also not sure is in the room. He will be doing a Play Connects Us. We'll also have another session of that. He's literally walking in right now, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll have another session of that, I think tomorrow as well. And he is here from the American Humans Association, so we're very glad to have him. It's going to get you in your body, not unlike what you just did today, or just now as well. And then we'll have a close here after those workshops, and then we move to the local hospitality as kind of our after-hours event as we leave the supermarket. And again, signups are out there, lots of great options. We will be doing our best to carpool people. You know, it's not a guarantee. Cars are only so big. Although in America, you know, listen, we're really pushing that limit. So please make sure to look at those, choose something. Because there's lots of really fun activities that we've got in store, or do your own thing. But I think that probably wraps it for a bunch of housekeeping stuff. So now is a great time for a break before deciding and choosing to go to one of those lovely workshops. So I dismiss you and thank you very much for coming on every Friday.
How do we find out throughout the schedule? Is there a QR code?
So there's QR codes on signs around. You scan that, you should be able to get a nice page. You might have to tag like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but it's and I'll actually.
Split words from here. Oh yeah. Maybe I'll just stand with the yeah, I know. Part of it was selfish. Other reasons. So I'll have actually been to some of those, but it was some time.